Today, there is a great development of technology. It leads to lifestyle changes and problems. Let us get the answers from Sri CV Kumar, a qualified and practicing professional counselor. He has nearly advised about 1,000 people on different problems. Welcome, sir. The technology development is leading to lifestyle changes and problems. How do you look at this?
Technology is a evolving science. Technological advancement is a continuous process. Technology should be a boon to us. Unfortunately, when it is not used properly, it can turn out to be a bane. That is what we are observing these days with regard to addiction to screen time. Perhaps if you look at the statistics, it's, I don't know, amazing. 45% of the US population, they feel they can't live without a cell phone. 95% of the Koreans, they own a smartphone. And nearly 52% of the citizens across the globe use internet, particularly with their cell phones. And China stands first in that usage, and India stands second. See, this statistics reveals the alarming position with regard to our addiction to the screen time, or particularly the smartphone.
What are the differences between addiction and dependency on a smartphone?
If we come to the instant case of smartphone usage, just ask yourself a few questions to check whether you are depending more and more on your cell phone or smartphone. Is this the first thing that you do when you get up early in the morning to look at your phone? Is it the last thing that you do to look at your phone before sleeping in the night? Are you required to charge your phone more than once in a day? Are you taking your cell phone to your washroom or bathroom? Do you get panic when you leave out or when you forget your phone at home or at somewhere else and go out? Start looking at the phone even if you are required to wait for a minute for somebody else. See, these are some of the questions that you can ask yourself. If the answer is yes to many of them, I think you are getting dependent on phone more and more.
How does the addiction start?
See, like any other addiction, addiction to smartphone also starts as a fun or as a coping strategy. In the earlier days, if we encounter some problem, we used to consult the elders at home or our parents for some solution. Now that is gone. You try to find solution through your smartphone. So there are several reasons why you start using more and more cell phone and slowly get addicted to it. There could be, it could be many of these issues. One is lack of entertainment. Your entertainment is available on your hand, so it's easy access. It could be lack of confidence, self-confidence particularly, lack of family bondage. Nowadays, nuclear families, and even within that nuclear family, the family bondage is getting weaker. Inadequate social skills, reducing socialization, boredom, anxiety. All these factors can be there. See, and there could also be coexisting mental issues. Another important factor that you should understand is, these days, we are handing over the smartphone to children, small babies. And so many times we feel proud that my son or daughter, just 3 years old, he is operating the smartphone. And children learn and they think the parents are their models. So the parents' usage also sets as an example for the children, and they start using it.
What are the distinctive characteristics of addiction to a smartphone?
See, let us examine what are the characteristics of addiction to smartphone. You can even say addiction to screen time. It could, because apart from smartphone, people also use laptops, television, smart TVs, and other such gadgets. Actually, there is no age limit for this addiction. A person of any age can start using this and getting addicted also. But as statistics reveal, more than 50% of the addicts are adolescents. What are the behavioral changes that we observe? See, it leads to behavioral changes. Irritability is important, noticeable change that we come across. There could also be physical changes that can be noticed. Apart from irritability, see, irregular food habits and sleeping habits. People sleep very late, get up very late. They lose temper on small issues. Social isolation. People tend to avoid social gatherings, keep aloof. Inability to abstain from that behavior. Emotional instability. And it can even lead to withdrawal symptoms. That means if you prevent usage of a particular habit, that is a phone or whatever it is, it will start affecting the mental or psychological behavior of that person. So that is some of the problems that we come across. And then decreased recognition to take responsibilities. People tend to avoid responsibility. These are all some of the psychological issues that you notice. Apart from this, there are physical issues, physical changes that we come across. One is, as I said, insomnia, that is lack of sleep. Second thing is body ache, neck pain, blurred vision, obesity, lifestyle diseases. These are all because of the lack of movement. People, the movement is restricted because you are always sitting in your table or somewhere else. Then there are other psychological issues also that you come across. That is decreased concentration, inability to concentrate on a particular subject for a longer time, lack of social skills, decreased social skills, depression, frustration, irritability. Then what is called, you can see the FOMO effect. They say FOMO effect means fear of missing out something. That is, so you start looking at, if you don't look at your phone for say an hour or two, you start feeling that you have missed out something very serious. So that feeling is called a FOMO effect. Then trolling, it can also lead to trolling, cyberbullying. Then you can also come across what is called ringtone syndrome. What is ringtone syndrome is, see, you're sitting in a hall, when somebody else's phone rings, you know very well that it is not your phone, but still you go take your phone and look at it. Then textoholism, something like addiction to texting always. It will shrink your memory. Gradually, the memory starts shrinking. You don't lose your memory, but this ability to use it, memory power, is reduced. Digital amnesia. All of us are now experiencing it. Even for a small multiplication, you take out your phone, multiply or divide, and try to find the answer. And then getting anxious when someone does not reply your message. These are all some of the psychological issues that develop as you start addicted to a smartphone.
How to overcome this addiction?
Let us examine how do we get over this addiction. Like any other addiction, first thing is to identify that you are addicted to it. Second thing is acceptance. Unless the individual accepts that he is addicted, he or she is addicted and needs to overcome that problem, or expresses willingness to overcome that problem, it cannot be overcome. So these are the primary factors. Then you have to find out what is the triggering factor. How do you get into this? Next thing is inculcate some lifestyle changes and treat comorbid issues, because that could be an added factor. See, you have to treat the comorbid issues first. Then one should start socializing more and more. The more you socialize, the less that you depend on your smartphone. Have a goal in life that will enhance your self-confidence. And then certain factors you should start as a detoxing effect. What is detoxing? How to, see, like other chemical addiction, in smartphone you cannot stop it totally because it is part and parcel of our life. So the usage should be controlled. In fact, one statistics is out of the total time that you use the smartphone, 86% is used on your apps, 13% is used on internet, and only 1% is used for conversation. Then you have to, that is why if you set time limit for the apps, that will definitely reduce the time used. Then try to switch off the phone at night when you start sleeping. Switch off the notifications, because notifications keep disturbing you. You are doing some, you are reading something, writing something, a notification comes, you look at your phone, that stops your work, you have to start again all over. So it reduces the concentration and also the speed. So switch off the notifications, and if possible, switch over to gray phone. That will always help you to receive your calls and make calls, but avoid these things. One more thing that I would advise is, many of us observe Ekadasi. Ekadasi day, people do fasting. Throughout the day, they don't eat anything. Some people even do that weekly, every Thursday or Saturday. They don't take food. I don't know about the religious factor of it, but it definitely helps in detoxing your digestive system. Like that, a digital Ekadasi will definitely help in overcoming this problem.
I am more than convinced that I cannot do without my smartphone. So, how to act smart under this situation?
See, phone is a very essential part of our life. In fact, smartphone is an excellent servant and most reliable servant, which can do many jobs for us. So there is no way of completely abandoning it. But if you allow the smartphone to become your master, then there is no other dangerous master than a smartphone. this we should understand. If you analyze seriously, smartphone addiction is more dangerous than other chemical addiction or even alcohol addiction. See, alcohol addiction is not easy. Even to this day, it carries a taboo. It's not, you can't start taking alcohol or a drug anywhere you want. But you can start using your smartphone anywhere you sit. It is no bar. Nobody can object. It is legal. And moreover, the phone or the cost involved in it is very cheap. So it is more affordable. It can be used anywhere. So it becomes more dangerous compared to other addictions. So these things we should understand. A smartphone should be used to enhance our life. We should not hand over our life to it. We should use a smartphone more intelligently so that it helps us in increasing our lifestyles, in enhancing our lifestyle, in improving our quality of life and communication.